Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to day 67 of commercial diving school. Today we're continuing with underwater welding, and I got my opportunity to dive and underwater weld today. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave any comments or questions for me down in the comment section below. So today was the second day of this week that we're underwater welding. We get this entire week to underwater weld, and I got my opportunity first thing this morning. So I got dressed out, everybody set up the dive station, and we got in the water and started welding. So first thing right off the bat, I want to say that it is very different from topside welding, being underwater and having water surrounding you. And one of the first things I can say is bubbles. So when you're welding underwater, the end of your rod, when you strike an arc and you're running your bead, bubbles are continuously like bubbling up, and they're constantly pushing against your rod and making it harder for you to run a good bead. Topside welding, you don't have to worry about that. You can just focus and just kind of, be steady, and you don't have to worry about these bubbles like pushing up. Like, just the expansion of the gases that come off of the flux when it's burning is the expansion is pushing out and in, kind of like a little explosion kind of thing, explosion and implosion, but right where your rod tip is. So it's very annoying, I would say. Like, how to explain what it is, it's just really annoying, and it kind of will mess up your bead. Also, you want to go very slow. So that's one thing also that I learned, is that in topside welding you can kind of go at a constant speed. You're kind of like, I basically trained myself to go at a constant speed that I learned was a good steady speed. Underwater welding is completely different. Like, you want to go slow as possible. Like, I thought I was going slow, and all of a sudden I was at the end of the plate already, like done with that row, and I needed to go way slower. So it's like, when I thought I was going slow, I would go even slower, almost to the point where I wasn't even like moving, or didn't notice myself moving. Another thing is, I had my weight belt on, so my weight belt was keeping me down and weighted to the bottom, so I wouldn't be too buoyant and be like moving around. But at the same time, I was still finding myself, like, while I was welding, I found myself like kind of like swaying, and kind of to the point where, like, because my vision is blocked, like, I'm not really paying attention to my balance. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of tilting, and I don't want to mess up my bead, and I'm just like, tilting, and I have to stop. So I felt myself doing that. I don't know if it was just me and if I was messing up, but that's another thing that I noticed with underwater welding. Another thing is, this is kind of like an equipment issue, which is the welding shield. On the Gorski hat, you can actually like flip it up and down, and it's pretty good size, welding shield. But normally when you're welding, you should be able to see your puddle like forming. Like, you should see flashes, but you should have your rod deep enough into the metal that the flashes aren't too bright, and you're not long arcing, that you can see your bead. But in underwater welding, with the lens, I don't know if it was just too dark, the welding lens we were using, or I was using, but I couldn't see that bead or that puddle. I couldn't see it. Like, all I saw was like a very dim, like flashing, and it might be, like I said, because the lens was too dark, so I couldn't see the puddle that was running behind my the end of my rod. So that I feel like was the biggest issue. Also, like when the flashing was going on, I should be able to see the plate a little bit so that I know where I'm going, so I know that I'm not veering off course, or I'm not just going like straight up or something, like, but I couldn't see that either. So it's kind of like a guessing game where, like, before you put your shield down, your welding lens, before you put it down, you get like a mental picture of where everything's at, and then you put it down and then you go along. Another thing is just the refraction or the magnification, not magnification, magnification of water. Like for instance, my beads, they looked huge, like really fat. I don't know if you guys have seen like really fat like welding beads that are just like real thick. That's how it looks underwater. But when I got up topside, they're so skinny. They're like real thin, like half as big as I thought my welds were. And that's just the magnification of water just messing with you, making you think see something that you're not. I think that has to do with like how I was running my beads too. Like where I thought I was on the plate, I thought I was like at the beginning, and then I thought I was like closer to the middle, but I would already be at the end. And that's just because the plate is looking bigger, so you think you have more surface area to go, and you're like, oh, I should only be halfway, but you're already at the end. So it's just my plate was looking bigger, so it just messed with me in that way. And so there's all these factors that go into underwater welding that aren't too awesome. Like everybody was pretty much getting frustrated at one point. You're just gonna get frustrated. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna trial and error, and you're gonna get error, and you're gonna keep trialing different things that you're like, okay, well, this needs to be different, and you're gonna tweak it, and it's still not gonna come out right. And then you're gonna tweak it again, and you're like, I'm for sure this is gonna look a little bit better, and it's still not gonna be right. So this is what I've learned, and this is for pretty much everything. It just takes practice. Like, this is our first time underwater welding, and you need more practice. Everybody just needs more time on it just to get your mind set on how to do it. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. But to get it into perspective, like it was kind of relaxing. Like, I just felt good just running beads back and forth, and the instructor is like watching you at the window the whole time, so they're just like asking you like, hey, can I see your weld? And then you clean it up real quick, and then you just show them, and they tell you how you're doing and everything. Another thing is we got one chance to weld a plate. You can weld the front, and then you flip it over, weld the back, and then you get your project, which is a bunch of plates kind of stacked on each other, and then there's 2 T's, one on each side, so that you have about 8 different grooves that you can weld together. And what I thought was, okay, I can run a bunch of horizontal beads on my plate, and then I would jump straight to my project, and I would be able to weld those pieces of metal together. Like, basically they're stacked like this, and then you just basically like this, and you weld in the groove. And I thought that would be easy because a groove would keep your end of your rod steady. You can just drag it along. But it was a lot harder. Like for some reason I would be too high and I would only be penetrating one metal and not the other, or I would be long arcing and not getting any penetration, or I would be running my bead too fast, or I would be going along and then stopping, going along and then stopping. So I'd have a real fat bead, and then I would have almost nothing, and then I would have fat, nothing. So it was pretty difficult with all those factors going on, but we got through it, and I did get GoPro video footage, so I'm gonna be uploading that very soon. I just have to, get it edited, and I'm gonna try not to edit too much because I don't want to cut like stuff out, because I know it's nice to like watch a video without a bunch of edits in it and stuff like that. I just took a bunch of different shots, so I want it to be a lot cleaner and then have it be one solid video. Other than that, I hope we get to weld again. We should be able to. I want to say yesterday it wasn't looking like we were gonna weld again, like everybody was gonna get a second chance, but today was a lot more promising. It looks like there's a good chance we could be getting a second chance to weld. So hopefully I get that, and I will definitely tell you guys about it and how it went, and uploading more footage on how that went. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys liked. Leave a like if you did. Stay tuned for more coming up this week. We're welding all week, so if you guys want to hear about that, stay tuned. But anyway, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great one. Peace.